there, I'm Tay, and welcome to my speed paint video. If you're unfamiliar with who I am a content creator who focuses primarily on gaming and art. This video, I'm going to be drawing my supporters. Not just a few, but a grand total of 16. This is one of my biggest art projects I've ever done. To be honest, it took me about a month to complete the drawing itself. It was a challenge I was willing to accept, but didn't really have a lot of time to work on it immediately. For this piece, I decided on picking 16 supporters to draw. When thinking about who I wanted to include, I wanted to focus on a couple main factors that determined who I ended up picking. The order of which people are drawn is totally random. Firstly, I wasn't going to forget some of the biggest financial contributors to my channel. Back in May, I held a fundraiser on my Twitch channel to help me raise money to support my family during a difficult time. Everyone was so sweet and supportive, but I had a handful of people donate insane amounts of dough, and I couldn't have been any happier about it. I also had some people bring in some viewers, which was also super amazing. In addition to financial contributors, I also wanted to include longtime viewers. There's a handful of people who have stuck around since day one, including some friends and my bestie Moss. They continuously supported me and encouraged me just by simply showing up. Of course they didn't have to, but I'm super thankful that they did. Financial and longtime supporters were the main focus, because without them specifically, I likely would not have continued to push myself to post or stream content. I'm not just thankful for the major supporters, but I'm grateful for everyone. There's maybe hundreds of people that have positively influenced my channel in some way, and I think that's pretty amazing. Little 10-year-old me never thought we'd make it to this point. Before we move on, I'd like to introduce you guys to everyone I'm drawing today. The first person I drew was Cameron, or Cam. I didn't know this person previous to the May fundraiser, but they donated an insane amount of dough via my Ko-fi. I don't remember which platform they came from, but I hope they stick around. Second is MTF, or Epsilon. MTF is a friend of mine who I met through a mutual server. Not only has he been a longtime viewer, but he was also kind enough to donate to my cause. Him and Butterdog, who you'll see later, were literally having a bit war in my chat, which is pretty freaking wild. Next is Moss, my best friend. She's been with me every step of the way, and words don't even come close to describing how thankful I am for her. She's my wonderful sister in Christ and such a huge inspiration to me. I love you. Now we have Taco, aka Taco Eater. He's another longtime viewer who I typically have on stream whenever I'm playing Splatoon. He's a great friend who's been nothing but supportive. Bro has been on stream so much, I might as well just give him my channel. Next up is Butterdog, another friend of mine, and as I said before, him and NTF were having a bit war in my chat to see who could top the other. Very generous, very silly, but what else could you expect from someone named Butterdog? I'm sure this avatar is going to be interesting to most. Unsurprisingly, this guy is named Former Mayo Man. We met through a mutual server, and he not only became a friend, but also an occasional viewer. I think he was part of the first group of friends to find my streams, so he's definitely witnessed a good amount of scuff and jank. Now we get to Vanguard. Oh my goodness. Vanguard, the biggest troll and rage baiter you will ever meet. But in all seriousness, he's up there as one of the biggest supporters, as not only a longtime viewer, but also a huge financial contributor. I've known him for a few years at this point, and during that time he's been nothing but supportive, hilarious, a great friend, and sometimes mildly infuriating. I'm not very familiar with Kijoki Joy, but I feel like they deserve a spot on this list. They raided my fundraiser stream out of nowhere and introduced many new viewers to the channel in the process. Although it was a one and done thing, they still dropped a follow and stuck around for a bit, which I thought was pretty cool. They seem chill, so go check them out on Twitch if you want. Tay is a newer person in my community, but I met them through TikTok in one of my announcement posts for the fundraiser. They showed up to my stream and even joined my Discord, which I thought was pretty awesome. They're super sweet and supportive, and I'm so glad they decided to stick around. Hey there, Editing Tay here. I just realized that I accidentally skipped over a person. I don't know how I missed them in my script, but I did. I want to take some time to appreciate Pudding right here. They donated, again, an insane amount of dough, and they left some pretty sweet messages in my DMs, as you can see. I just want to share my appreciation for them, and I'm so glad that you donated. I'm so sorry that I missed you. I don't know how that happened, but anyways, on with the video. Bloodlust is someone I met through another streamer's Discord, and somehow since that point he practically became associated with my channel and Discord server. He has his own Twitch channel, which I recommend checking out. He often does charity streams and some speedruns, which are pretty cool. He's been supportive, and we often exchange advice to one another, which I think is how we became even better friends. I also designed and drew his PNG tuber model, which was a huge honor. Go check him out. Syke is another friend and a very long-time viewer. I think I see him almost every other stream, but when I think about it, I don't know if that really says much because I've been streaming once a month for like quite a while now, so Whoops. Either way, he still makes sure to sub, which helps me out a lot. Thank you so much, Psych. Nevada is a good friend of mine who's been supporting the channel pretty consistently almost since before I hit affiliate. I can't even tell you how many hilarious game night sessions we've had or how many times we've stayed up until almost 4 discussing the deep stuff. He's quite amazing, and I'd also recommend checking out his stuff. It's pretty cool. Deadpool is a longtime supporter and viewer. Although we don't talk as often anymore, he still drops by to chat or hang out. He's definitely someone I always look forward to seeing in chat during the first few minutes of stream. He's a pretty chill guy and doesn't forget to supply our DMs with his daily dose of TikTok memes. Much like Vanguard, I've known KitKat for a few years now. All of us have actually been part of a smaller online friend group for pretty much the entire time we've known each other. Flock has also been around on my channel for a hot minute and might have actually been one of my first supporters. Last but definitely not least, there's Somber. Somber used to be a good friend of mine, and he contributed a lot to the channel during the early Twitch days. I'm not sure what he's up to now, but I hope he's doing well. He was for sure one of the more memorable supporters, but mostly because of his out-of-pocket comments and insane support. There's tons and tons of other supporters that I know personally that I like to discuss, but I only have so much time, so hopefully I can get to them another day. Either way, I'm thankful to every person that has supported me in any way throughout the years. Another thing I'd like to talk about is my drawing process. I first needed to get a reference from all of my supporters. This was a little difficult, seeing as how most of these people didn't have avatars or personas of any kind. Luckily, most of them were able to bear with me and at least provide something. Some of them used avatar creators to provide me with a reference, and some literally just had random images of characters, which, you know, is totally fine. Beggars can't be choosers. I told them to send me something that represented them, and man did they deliver. After getting references, I began on sketching. It's nothing too crazy. The main idea I had was just drawing them in a clear and simple pose. I tried my best to pose them in a way that best represents them, to kind of put a little character in their posing, but I'm not sure how that really translated with some of them, since a few are literally just cartoon characters or objects. I like my lines really neat, like super neat. I'm a neat freak when it comes to my art, and you'll likely see that with how carefully I draw my final lines. I also accidentally chose a brush that was pixelated, so the final product looks a little low quality, but you know, it's fine. Coloring isn't one of my favorite parts of the drawing process, but I did actually enjoy it here. The colors of these characters are very diverse, ranging from neutral to heavily saturated. It gives the cast a lot of contrast, and I'm not gonna lie, it looks like some Smash Bros. Ultimate type lineup. Although I didn't render the drawings here, my favorite part of the rendering process is coloring the lines. I feel like it makes the drawings less intense and easier to look at without all the plain black line art. Now, drastic change of topic, but ever since I was a kid, I had always fantasized about someday becoming a content creator. Although an unusual career choice, I had always loved sharing my creations and getting to interact with online communities. Some of my biggest inspirations growing up were the mid-2010s gaming YouTubers like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Game Grumps, amongst many other Minecraft YouTubers, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. I was also inspired by a lot of artists, typically the classic late 2010s storytime YouTubers. If I were to name all of my big inspirations right now, we'd be here all day. But I just want to say that some of the people who really inspired me to keep working towards this type of career are probably Moss and some new modern content creators like Queso and 3FS. My main goal right now is to just upload, not even consistently, but I just want to get my creations out there. I'm not worried about consistency at the moment, only because I don't want to burn myself out when I'm still learning how to edit on a brand new program. I want to give myself enough time to create, but eventually I do want to become consistent for the reason of wanting to gain an audience and someday get this channel verified and monetized. I'm not in it for the money, although that would be an amazing plus, but I'm in it for my passion to create. I've always had this drive to create. My motivation is honestly my biggest enemy in this whole process, but I've been learning proper discipline, and you know, if you're seeing this video right now, that means I did it. Before the video is over, I just want to give another ginormous thank you to everyone who supported me during the stream and the fundraiser. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys, and not only am I super grateful, but my family is as well. Everything you guys did for me helped us out a lot, and it's amazing what a tiny little community can do. I look forward to creating and interacting with this community in the future. I do really love you guys, and I'm so happy to have been blessed with such kind people in my community. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a blessed rest of your day.